everyone, welcome back. I'm Dorota and this is Jonathan. This is our second how-to video. Today's topic, how to pick a Bible. So Jonathan, how do you pick a Bible?
I don't know, we've been here like 3 hours and we've just got stacks. You can't see them in the camera, but we've got like stacks and stacks of Bibles. It can be a pretty overwhelming thing. But Dorota and I think we have a good first step that will at least hopefully get you a free meal. And that is ask your local clergy. And we're saying ask your local clergy not because they're the expert, but because we actually think back to the point that Dorota made in the earlier video, that we read scripture together in the context of our local communities. And so it's a great place to start. You are already very familiar with that translation. It's the one you know without even knowing it. And confirming what that translation is with your local clergy can be a very good place to start.
And a great excuse to win a meal.
And you should probably actually buy your clergy lunch.
I like that.
Don't be cheap.
I like that a better. Okay, so there you go. The maybe guiding principle is to read whatever translation you're reading in your local church community. But just to share a little bit more about what other translations are out there, we want to start by sharing just a little bit about the basics of biblical translation. So, as we all know, the Bible was not written in English. It was written in Hebrew and in Greek. So every translation that we look at is some version of interpretation on that. And there's a couple different ways that different interpreters focus their work. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. Just very generally, a lot of the translation happens kind of around two poles. The first pole would be translations that strive to be more literal or word-for-word translations, and then other translations that seek to be faithful to the spirit of what is being spoken, or kind of an idiomatic sense, so that the essence of what the author conveyed actually comes across, where sometimes literalism can get in the way of that.
And one reason that we both really like the NRSV, the New Revised Standard Version, is that it balances both of those poles pretty well. So there are a lot of places where it's just a good word-for-word translation, and other places where it really captures the nuance and the spirit of what is being shared. There's another version, another translation actually, that I want to share with you all that won't work for the New Testament because it's just the Hebrew Bible. But this comes out of the Jewish Publication Society. So this is the Tanakh translation. It's a study Bible with amazing notes, and it's probably what I'm going to be focusing on, at least for the first part of the summer when we are in the Hebrew Scriptures, or what Christians call the Old Testament.
Then I wanted to say a quick word about additions, which are different from translations. Additions, even within a single translation like the NRSV, you can find multiple additions. And so even though my favorite edition is the HarperCollins Study Bible, which you can't go wrong with, I use other ones like the Wesley Study Bible, where I can keep up with my favorite commentators at Duke and what they had to say about certain portions of Scripture. So just pay attention, have fun with it, let it be a good process. I want to put a quick plug in for BibleGateway.com, which is a great place. Like if you have a piece or short passage of scripture that you're familiar with, you can look it up there. And you can look it up in several different translations. They have the NRSV, they have the King James, they even have what wouldn't be called translations, but paraphrases like the Message. And don't be afraid of trying any of them out. They're not going to bite you, but they'll give you a sense of, you'll be able to get a sense for yourself of what those particular concrete differences look like that Dorota and I have been talking about, literal versus idiomatic, in a very concrete sense that you can recognize.
So happy picking and happy reading.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Here it is, a groove slightly transformed, just a bit of a break.